Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are good at your home. So, follow the hygienic rules, wash your hands regularly, use sanitizers, and be safe at home. So, today we are going to see Standard 10 Science 1, Lesson number 1, Gravitation. Now, in the previous session, we had done the first half of the lesson where we had studied about what is gravitation. Then we had studied about the circular motion and the centripetal force, the force which acts towards the center of the circle. Then we had seen the Kepler's law. There the first law was the orbit of a planet is an ellipse with the sun at one foci. We had seen that with the diagram. Then the second law was the line joining the planet and the sun sweeps equal areas in equal interval of time. Kepler's third law was the square of its period of revolution around the sun is directly proportional to the cube of the mean of the distance of a planet from the sun. That we had got that was t square is directly proportional to r cube. Further, we had seen the Newton's law of gravitation, where the formula for gravitational force was F is equal to G into m1 into m2 upon d, where m1 and m2 are the masses and d is the distance between the two objects. The mass m1 and m2 are the masses of the two objects and they are separated by the distance d. So here we can say that the force is directly proportional to the product of the masses of the two objects. Product is multiplication, so m1 into m2, and is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So inversely proportional, that is why the distance will come in the denominator, so it is inversely proportional. Further, now we have studied about the tides. You must be knowing about the high tide and the low tides that occur regularly in the sea. The level of the sea water at any given location during seashore increases and decreases twice a day at a regular interval. Now the high tides and the low tides that we get in the sea, that is a result of the gravitational pull of the moon. Even the moon is having the gravitational pull. Because of that, we are getting the high tides and low tides on the earth. Now the portion of the earth which comes directly under the moon, that will cause the pull, which will increase the height of the water and we will get the high tides. And the other portion which is not under the direct I mean to say the direct, and it is not under direct moon, which is not under the moon directly, that will be having a low tide or ebb condition over there. Now we'll see Earth's gravitational force. Will the velocity of a stone thrown vertically upward remain constant, or will it change with time? How will it change? Why does the stone move? Why doesn't the stone move up all the time? Why does it fall down after reaching a certain height? What does its maximum height depend upon? See, whenever now if you're throwing something upwards, you will find that when it is going up, the velocity will decrease, and at a point it will stop and it will come down again. That is because of the gravitational force which is attracting that object. So because of that, the velocity decreases, it stops, and then it falls down. Now the earth attracts every object near it towards itself because of the gravitational force. So because of the gravitational force, the earth is attracting every object toward itself. The center of the mass of the earth is situated at its center, so the gravitational force on any object due to the earth is always directed towards the center of the earth. Because of this force, an object falls vertically downward on the earth. So here the mass, the center of the mass of the earth, it is situated at its center only. Like how in the nucleus the mass is concentrated in the nucleus, which is at the center. So similar in this way, the center of mass of the earth is situated at its center. So the gravitational force on any object, it is directed towards the center of the earth. As we saw, when the apples they fall from the tree, they go vertically downwards towards the earth. Now if they are falling from the tree, they will move downwards to the earth, that is towards the center. Exactly towards the center means it will fall down vertically because on the earth, because of its gravitational force. Now similarly, when we throw a stone vertically upwards, the force tries to pull it down and reduces its velocity. Now this is what we seen little while earlier when you are throwing anything. Now they have thrown, for example, we throw a stone upwards. So it will move upwards to a certain height and its velocity will gradually decrease. It will stop and the stone will come down. Due to this constant downward pull, the velocity becomes zero after a while. So because of this force, the object will go to a certain height. There it will stop. So the velocity there becomes zero and it starts falling down and it comes up to the ground. So there also the velocity becomes zero. Now the pull continues to be exerted and the stone starts moving vertically downward towards the center of the earth under its influence. So that is because of the gravitational influence that the stone is pulled vertically downward towards the earth. That is why any object that we throw upwards comes down towards the earth. That is because of the earth's gravitational pull or gravitational force. Thus, if the earth attracts an apple towards itself, the apple also attracts the earth toward itself with the same force. Why then does the apple fall towards the earth but the earth does not move towards the apple? Now that is because of the earth, the mass of the earth is more than the mass of the apple and the observer is also on the earth only. The gravitational force due to the earth also acts on the moon. Now see, on the moon also it acts, because of which it revolves around the earth. Now because of this force only all the solar system, everything it is moving, galaxy and everything they are moving, because there is a force of attraction, there is a gravitational force between them. If there wouldn't have been no gravitational force, then there would have been no formation of solar system, galaxies, etc. and we wouldn't have existed. Now the gravitational force due to the earth also acts on the moon, because of which it revolves around the earth. Similar situation exists for artificial satellites orbiting the earth. Now we have a number of artificial satellites which are orbiting the earth. Now those are also because of the force acting on them. The moon and the artificial satellites, they orbit the earth. Orbit the earth means they revolve around the earth in a fixed orbit. So that is why it is called as orbit the earth. The earth attracts them towards itself, but unlike the falling apples, they do not fall on the earth. Why? Because they have a certain velocity. That is why they don't fall on the earth. This is because of the velocity of the moon and the satellites along their orbits. They have a certain velocity, so because of that, they move in the orbit. If this velocity was not there, they would have fallen on the earth. If this velocity was not there, they would have fallen on the earth. Ahead, Earth's gravitational acceleration. Now, Earth exerts a gravitational force on objects near it. This we know that Earth tries to attract objects towards itself. Now, according to Newton's second law of motion, a force acting on a body results in its acceleration. So, when a force is acting on a body, the velocity is changing. So, there is an acceleration taking place. Thus, the gravitational force due to the earth on a body results in its acceleration. So, the force which is acting, that is the gravitational force. So, because of the gravitational force of earth acting on a body, that will result in its acceleration. This is called acceleration due to gravity. So because of the gravitational force of the earth acting on an object, acceleration is produced. So that acceleration is because of the gravitational force. So that is why it is known as acceleration due to gravity, and it is denoted by small g. So acceleration due to gravity is denoted by small g. The capital G is the gravitational constant, so don't get confused between them. Now acceleration is a vector quantity. Now you must be knowing the scalar quantity and the vector quantities. Scalar quantities, they only have magnitude alone. Vector quantities, they have both magnitude as well as direction. Now velocity is also a vector quantity because it is having magnitude and direction both. Now for acceleration is what rate of change of velocity, that is velocity upon time. So even acceleration is a vector quantity because it will have both magnitude and direction. As the gravitational force on any object due to the earth is directed towards the center of the earth, the direction of acceleration due to gravity is also directed towards the center of the earth. So always remember that the direction of acceleration due to gravity, that is also to the center of the earth, that is vertically downwards. What would happen if there were no gravity? So we said that earlier, if there was no gravity, there wouldn't have been attraction between two objects, and so there would have been no formation of solar system and galaxies, etc. So all these things which are there on the earth, they wouldn't have been there. They are there because of gravity. What would happen if the value of G was twice as large? Now if the value of capital, they have given the capital G. Now our formula for force is G into m1 into m2 upon r square. So there you will find if the value of G is twice, the force will also be twice. It will be double. And also the small g, it will also be double. Now value of G on the surface of the earth. Now we can calculate the value of G. Now see here, now force is Gmm upon r square, where m is the mass of the earth. But force also we can write as m into g, that is m into g. This is small g is acceleration due to gravity. Now from this 3 and 4 you will find f is same, so these two terms will be same, so you will get here mg is equal to gm upon r square. So what will be g if you want to equate it? This m will go on this side, so this upper m and this m will get cancelled, so you will get g is equal to capital G m upon r square. Now remember the SI unit of g is, the mass is how much of earth? It is 6 into 10^24 kg, and for radius it is 6.4 into 10 raised to 6 meters. So when you put in this, you will get the value of G is 9.97 meter per second square. Now see this G is acceleration, so here you will get meter per second square. For velocity the unit is meter per second. Now velocity is what? Displacement upon time. Displacement will be in meter, time is in second, so you will have meter per second. So acceleration, it is meter per second square. This you must be knowing because acceleration is what? Rate of change of velocity. Velocity is meter per second. Time is second, so it will be meter per second. 2 times s is there, so it will become meter per second square. So remember SI unit of G, that is acceleration due to gravity, that will be meter per second square. Further, this acceleration depends upon the mass m and the radius of the earth. So it depends upon the mass of the earth and the radius of the earth. And so the acceleration due to gravity at a given point on the earth, at a given point the acceleration due to gravity is same for all the objects. But if you go to different places, not if you take into consideration different points, it will change. So it does not depend upon the properties of the object. What would be the value of G on the surface of the earth if the mass was twice as large and its radius half of what it is now. Now if you see, mass was twice as large and its radius half of what it is now. Now see, if we take here G is equal to Gm upon R square. So G1 here will be the present conditions, G2 will be the double one. So if you take the ratio of G2 is to G1, so here you will get M2 upon M1 into R1 upon R2. Now if you see over here, the M2 is twice of M1. Here we have written it is twice. So twice of M1 will come over here. R2 is half. See, it is half the radius. So R2 it will be R1 upon 2. R1 is considered over here the present conditions, and R2 is what they have told to change, the double and the half. So here if it is half, you will find this M1 will get cancelled, here you will get 2. This R1 upon 2, this 2 will go upper side because it is in the denominator of the denominator. So this you must be knowing the division rule over here. So this 2 will go over here. So this is a square over here. So 2 square is 4, 4 2s is 8. So G2 upon G1 will come 8. So G2 is how much? 8 times G1. Therefore the value of G on the surface of the earth will be 8 times the present value when the mass was twice as large and the radius is half of what it is now. So that time you will get the value of G on the surface of the earth would be 8 times. See, this G2 is equal to 8 into G1. Now further, variation in the value of G. Change along the surface of the earth. While the value of the G be, will the value of the G be same everywhere on the surface of the earth? No. As I told you earlier, at a given point only all the objects will have the same value. Now the reason that is that the shape of the earth is not exactly spherical. Now the shape of, see, our earth is not spherical. It is somewhat flattened at the poles. So the distance of a point on the surface of the earth and its center differs. So that is why the distance of from the center it is differing, because somewhere it is flattened, somewhere it is bulging. So sides it will bulge and at the poles it will be flattened. So due to its rotation, the earth bulges at the equator. So equator at the bulges means on the sides it will bulge and upper side it will little be flattened at the poles. So that is why it is not spherical. Due to its rotation, the earth bulges at the equator and is flattened at the poles. Its radius is largest at the equator. So at the equator, its radius will be largest because there it is bulging, and smallest at the poles. So it is getting flattened upper side, so the distance will be small. So there the radius will come less. The value of G thus is highest at the poles. So at the poles, the value of G is highest. So it can come for filling the blanks. So remember, highest at the poles, that is 9.832 meter per second square, and decreases slowly with decreasing latitudes. Now latitudes are what? The horizontal lines. The equator, how it is horizontal like that. So it is lowest at the equator, that is 9.78 meter per second square. Now this was along the surface of the earth. Now next is change with height. Now as we go above the earth's surface, the value of r in the equation 5 increases. Above the earth's surface if you go, then the radius will go on increasing. Now as the radius will go on increasing, you will find that G, it is inversely proportional. So as radius will increase, the G will decrease because r is in the denominator. So it is inversely proportional, and in inversely proportional what happens? If one quantity will increase, the other will decrease. However, the decrease is rather small for heights which are small in comparison to the earth's surface. If it is a small change, then it is okay. For example, if the radius of the earth is how much? 6,400 km. That is the radius of the earth. If an aeroplane is flying at a height of 10 km above the surface of the earth, its distance from the earth changes from, see, if a height of the plane, if it is at 10 kilometers from the surface, so its height is little more it is coming. So what it is coming, the distance it is coming of the earth, it is how much? 6400 kilometers. So here it is coming 6410. So here it has increased by 10, and the change in the value of g, so by little only it has increased, so change will be negligible, that can be avoided, means it is very small. On the other hand, if we consider an artificial satellite, now if we take artificial satellite, it is above the earth's surface, so that radius will increase too much. So taken into account the change in the value due to larger change in the distance of the satellite from the earth, so that will have more effect on the value of g. So some typical heights and the values of g at these heights are given in the following table. If you see page number 9, then you will find that the surface of the earth, there it is given, height is in kilometer, it is on the surface. So the gravity value, g value, it is 9.8 meter per second square. Now Mount Everest, it is 8.8 kilometer. So there also it is 9.8 only, it is not changing. Like how the aeroplane had 10 kilometer difference over there, so it was small, so it is negligible, it can be avoided. So even here the height is how much? 8.8, so the gravity remains same over there, that is 9.8. Maximum height reached by the man-made balloon. Now man-made balloons, which they go above, there it is how much? 36.6 kilometer. Now there it is becoming little small, less, where it is 9.77. Height of a typical weather satellite, it is around 400 kilometers. So there it is reducing more, it is 8.7 meter per second. And height of a communication satellite in the above the Earth's atmosphere, so there you are getting 35700. That it is getting g value, it is 0.225, it is very less, because of the radius has increased, it has become 35,700 kilometers. Now see is the change with the depth. So we saw along the surface, height, and now with the depth. Now the value of g also changes if we go inside the earth. Now value of g in the r decreases, and one would think that the value of g would increase as per the formula, but here it is little bit of change over here. Here it will not be like inversely proportional. Why? Because the part of the earth which contributes towards the gravitational force felt by the object also decreases there, which means that the value of m of the equation also decreases. As a combined effect of r and m, the value of r and m both, as a combined effect of both, the value of g decreases as we go down into the center, means inside the earth. So remember, with the depth, means if it is going towards inside the earth, the value of g decreases as we go deep inside the earth. Now, will the direction of the gravitational force change as we go inside the earth? So the direction will not change. What will be the value of g? At the center of, as it is decreasing, and as it reaches the center of the earth, the value will become 0. Now every planet and satellite has different mass and radius. Hence, according to equation 6, see the equation 6. Equation 6 is g is equal to gm upon r square. So there every planet and satellite has a different mass and radius. According to the 6, the value of g on their surfaces are different. So on their surfaces the value of g will be different. On the moon it is about 1/6 of the earth. 1/6 of the earth is the value of g on the moon. As a result, using the same amount of force, we can jump 6 times more over on the moon as compared to the earth. Why? Because there the value of g is 1/6 of the earth. Mass and weight. Now this you must have studied in the lower standards. Mass is the amount of matter present in the object. Whatever matter is there in the object, that is known as mass. The SI unit of mass is in kg. So SI unit of mass, remember, it is in kg. Mass is a scalar quantity. Again I told you the scalar and the vector quantity. Here mass is a scalar quantity. Its value is same everywhere. its value does not change even when we go to the another planet. So mass remains constant wherever you go. Thing is, the weight changes because the gravity changes. So we'll see further. Its value does not change even when we go to another planet. So when we go to another planet, that time also the mass will not change. The mass remains constant throughout the universe. Now according to the Newton's first law, there is the measurement of inertia of the object. Higher the mass, higher will be the inertia. This you have studied in the last standard. Now weight. The weight of an object is defined as the force with which the Earth attracts the object. Now weight is what? The gravitational force is also added with the mass, so that becomes the weight. When the gravitational force is acting on the mass, that is weight. And the alone mass, when the gravity is not acting, that is the actual mass. Now here, the force F on an object of mass m on the surface of the earth will be written as equation. See, now weight is also force only. So force is what? M into G. So there what you will get, and G is what? Gm upon R square, as we have seen earlier. So weight being a force, SI unit is Newton only. Weight is a force only. So there also its unit will be same like force only. So SI unit will be Newton, CGS unit will be dyne, dyne. And now force is a vector quantity because it has magnitude and direction as well. So if force and weight are same, so even weight is a vector quantity. So remember, mass is a scalar quantity, weight and force, they both are vector quantity. And further, and its direction is towards the center of the earth. Direction will be towards the center of the earth only. As the value of G is not same everywhere, the weight of an object changes from place to place, though its mass is constant everywhere. So the mass is constant everywhere throughout the universe. But as the gravity changes, the weight changes from place to place. The mass remains constant. Now, colloquially we use weight for both mass and weight and measure the weight in kilograms, which is the unit of mass. But in scientific language, when we say that Rajiv's weight is 75 kg, we are actually talking about its mass only. What we mean is that Rajiv's weight is equal to the gravitational force on 75 kg mass. So as Rajiv's mass is 75 kg, his weight on earth is F is equal to mg, our formula. So his mass is 75. So 75 into 9.8, so that will be 735 newtons. So further, will your weight remain constant as you go above the surface of the earth? See, as we go above the surface of the earth, if the radius is decreasing, I mean to say increasing, you are going more outside, so you are going out of the gravitational pull of the earth. So what will happen? Your weight will not be same, it will be reduced, because you are getting away from the gravitational pull, you are getting away from the contact of the gravitational pull. So that is why your weight will not remain constant, it will become less. Suppose you are standing on a tall ladder, if your distance from the center of earth is 2r, what will be your weight? Now if you see here, now weight is what? The force formula only. So it is gmm upon r square. So here r is what? It is 2r. It is given that the distance will be 2r. So if it is 2r, it will become here 4r square. So what is this? This is actually the weight. So here it will become 1 upon 4. Means divided by 4. The weight will be divided by 4. Now on the page number 10, they have given some, you can read about that, they have given something about the gravitational waves. Now, we'll see the free fall and the gravitational potential energy and the escape velocity in the next session. So read the textbook. I hope you have understood. Thank you.